It's a beautiful day in the synagogue, a beautiful day for a mitzvah. Will you do one? Could you do one? It's a beautiful day to make memories, a beautiful day to remember all the sad times and the glad times. I've always wanted to have a match just like you. I've always wanted to pray in a synagogue with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my mishpacha? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my mishpacha?
Hello friends, how are you doing today?
We are really excited to share such a special and important day with you. Do you know what day it is?
That's right, it's Yom Kippur.
Morgan, wasn't it just Rosh Hashanah? I didn't know we had two very important days so close to each other.
That's right, we call these 2 days the high holidays. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are both 10 days apart. They're both part of the Jewish New Year and can both focus on how we can be our best.
Honestly, Morgan, I had some pretty bad days this year. I definitely got grumpy. Sometimes I was tired. I for sure was hangry. And there were just some days that I focused on that instead of trying to do my best.
Casey, we all have those days. Everyone has times in their lives when they don't feel like they did their best. Maybe they weren't helpful at home. Maybe they didn't get a good grade on a test. Maybe they didn't speak with kindness. But all of that is part of being a human being. We aren't perfect, and we definitely can't expect others to be perfect. What we can do, however, is remember how special we are and apologize for any things that we didn't do well, and celebrate the things that we did the best.
You're so right, Morgan. It's always good to remember that the Jewish New Year, or Rosh Hashanah, gives us a chance to focus on the person that we want to be and to forgive ourselves and others for the times that they weren't feeling their best.
So when we do make mistakes, Miss Casey, what can we do to not get upset?
Well, some things that I do are take a really deep breath, and I try to remind myself that I am human and I'm allowed to make mistakes.
I also make sure to apologize if I can. After apologizing, I always think of ways to change my words or actions so I don't make the same mistake again.
Just don't forget, Morgan, change really can take time. So we need to give ourselves permission and give ourselves the chance to make those changes and to be our best. Might take a few tries to fix the problem, but we should always celebrate how hard we're trying.
So, Miss Casey, is it easier for you to focus on the good things or the not so good things?
I think for a lot of us, Morgan, it's easier to focus on the not so good things. But when you think about it, most mistakes really aren't that serious.
I think you're right. You have to be willing to give yourself and others a second chance. Remember, we are all human and are allowed to improve ourselves.
Someone who's taught me a lot about making ourselves better people and focusing on our strengths and giving ourselves second chances is Rabbi Dennis. I wonder if he has a story he could tell us.
Once upon a time, there was a young Jewish boy named Aaron. Aaron was a good boy. He was a member of Congregation Colony. He went to Green Family Camp. He tried very hard to do the right thing all the time. But this past year, he heard a funny story about his friend Ben. It was so funny and so embarrassing that he just had to tell it to all of his friends. And pretty soon, the story of Ben's embarrassment was spread throughout the school, throughout Congregation Colony, and even beyond. And Ben was beyond embarrassed. And Ben was angry. And he was furious at Aaron and wouldn't talk to him. So Aaron thought to himself, maybe what I'll do is I will go and talk to the incredibly wise and unusually attractive rabbi of Congregation Colony, Rabbi Jeff Dennis. Oh, Aaron, this is a real problem you have created for yourself. I know you want to figure out what to do to fix this, and repair your relationship with Ben. So, this is what I suggest. I suggest that you take this pillow to the tallest place on the Kolomi property and you tear it open. Yes, tear it open. No, trust me on this. It'll be clear in just a moment. So Aaron, absolutely baffled at what the rabbi was driving at, nevertheless took the pillow. Rabbi's beloved, I just purchased this pillow. And he took it with him and looked for the tallest place at Congregation Kolomi. And he looked, and he looked, and he saw the top of the swings, but he knew the rabbi would not approve of him climbing to the top of the swings. And then he saw, the top of the sukkah, but he knew that rabbi would not approve of him climbing to the top of the sukkah. So he turned to the playground tower and he said, this is the tallest place that I can stand. And so Aaron proceeded with his pillow. And Aaron, using all the tools provided for him and being a very large boy for his age, climbed up and got to the top of the tower. And then he went to the very top point of the tower. And so it was that Aaron, following the rabbi's inexplicable instructions, tore open the bag. And just at that moment, a wind came and blew the feathers everywhere, everywhere. They just went all over the place. Oh my gosh, he could see them departing to the very far distance. Oh, wow, that's kind of cool. Aaron's very impressed, and he's kind of excited to discuss it with the rabbi because there's just so many feathers flying all over the place. He can't believe it. All right, so Aaron is now sure he's learned something, but he's just not sure what. So with that, he goes back to talk to the rabbi. So Aaron came back to the rabbi to try and find out what was the lesson the rabbi was trying to explain to him, because he really didn't get it. So the rabbi said, "Very good, Aaron. You did a great job. Now, go and find and retrieve and collect all of those feathers." And Aaron said, "But Rabbi Dennis, that's impossible. There's no way I could gather up all those feathers. They're everywhere. They're in the parking lot. They're in the hedges. They're in the grass. They're on the basketball court. They're in places I can't even see anymore." And the rabbi said, "Yes, Aaron, that's the point. When we say things about other people, when we gossip and we spread rumors, even if they're true and they hurt someone else's feeling, once those stories have gone out, there's virtually no way to bring them back in again. So we must learn, first of all, to think before we speak, and to remember that if we say something funny about someone else, it may also be painful for them. So always be cautious. However, even now, you have to do what you can to fix what you have done. That is the whole purpose of teshuvah, of turning yourself around, is trying to fix what you've done. So Aaron had a deep sigh. He looked at the rake and he says, "You know what? What I did to Ben was wrong, and I have to do as much as I can to make it right. So I'm going to try, Rabbi. I'm going to do tshuva. I'm going to turn around right now into this rain, and I am going to try and gather up all the feathers. And I am going to go to all of my friends and all the people who have heard Ben's embarrassing story, and I will apologize and say, I am so sorry, please don't tell this story about Ben anymore." And with that, Aaron walked off into the rain, miserable, but feeling better about himself as a Jew and a person.
Wow, that was a great story. I'm so glad we worked so hard last week on listening.
I think I might need a listening break. Do you think we could say the Shema together?
Sure.
Morgan, do you remember the steps to saying the Shema that we learned during Rosh Hashanah last week? Were you listening?
I mean, I was listening. Does that mean, okay, so we cover a part of our body. Do we cover our feet?
If we're in our sanctuary like we are today, it might be good to cover our feet. But if you're at home and you'd like to take your socks off, now is a good time. And I'll give you a second to take your socks off. That's okay. I'm going to keep my socks on though. So we do cover a part of our body, Morgan. That's right. We cover our eyes. So we can cover our eyes 3 different ways. We can close our eyes. We can use our hands to cover our eyes. Or we can use our prayer book to cover our eyes. So step 1, cover one part of your body, preferably the eyes. If you need to take your shoes off, that's okay. So we'll do that. Then we focus really, really, really intensely because we want to be listening to God and we want God to be listening to us. So we're going to cover our eyes and sing the Shema together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vahed.
So, Miss Casey, I know you love to do some mitzvot. So what are some things that you'd like to do in the new year?
I'd like to spend some more time working on improving the environment. So I'm going to pick up more trash, I'm going to recycle more, and I'm going to plant flowers and other plants that are helpful to the bees. What are some mitzvot that you're planning to do for the new year?
So I'm going to help my family and friends wherever I can, and I'm going to help people learn about being Jewish.
Wow, Morgan, that's amazing. So we're both focusing on our community and the people that we love and the bees that we love. Miss Casey loves bees. But I think we should also be focusing on ourselves. That's really important. I think, as a mitzvah to myself, I'm going to start trying to go to bed a little bit earlier. That way I can get a really good night's sleep and have a good start to my day. What about you?
I think I'm going to take some time to exercise so that my body can continue to be strong and healthy.
I think I'm going to join you on that one, Morgan. Luckily, no matter what happens during the year, we can always count on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur to arrive. We get an opportunity to look back on the year we had and plan for the year to come.
Right. We can always change our actions, change our reactions, and change how we speak to others. We can choose to make better choices and offer forgiveness to others and to ourselves because, as we said earlier, nobody's perfect.
That's very true. Sometimes, though, Morgan, the imperfect things actually are better than not.
Really?
Really? Did you know that the popsicle was made because of a mistake?
No way.
Really? So, one very, very cold night, very, very far away from Texas, a little boy, we can say his name was Yaakov, but it probably wasn't, left a cup of juice out on his porch with a stirring stick inside. Overnight it froze, and when he woke up in the morning, he had realized, oh my goodness, I left my juice outside last night. He ran downstairs, ran outside, and found this delicious treat waiting for him. It's one of the best mistakes, especially for us in Texas in the summertime.
I'm so glad that kid forgot his drink outside. Popsicles are one of my favorite treats. Did you know that there's a song about giving yourself a second chance and asking for forgiveness?
I had no idea. Do you think you could teach it to us?
Sure. It's called Avinu Malkeinu. The words mean, I'm sorry for what I did wrong. I'll try to be caring, more loving, and sharing. Forgive me for what I did wrong. Ready? Miss Casey, the song goes like this, and I want you to repeat after me.
Okay.
So it starts like this. Avinu Malkeinu. Try that. Avinu Malkeinu. together. Avinu Malkeinu Chanenu Vanenu. And then the next part is Ki Ein Banu Masim. Ki Ein Banu Masim. So that was the first part.
Okay.
So there's a second part too, and it sounds like this, line by line. Aseh Imanu, Aseh Imanu, Tzedakah v'chesed, Tzedakah v'chesed. All together. Aseh Imanu, Tzedakah v'chesed. And the last part is Vehoshienu, Vehoshienu. Now let's try it all together. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu. All together. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu, Ki Ein Banu Masim. Aseh Imanu, Aseh Imanu, Tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh Imanu, Tzedakah v'chesed, Vehoshienu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu, Ki Ein Banu Masim.
Morgan, thank you so much for teaching us that song. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So we are really coming to the end of our Yom Kippur day and learning. And I wonder if we ask really nicely if we could get Mr. Casey to blow the shofar for us one more time to welcome in the new year.